Greetings from Bled, Slovenia. I'm very happy to be here after several days, hectic days, full of work and full of meetings, full of wonderful people. And we have the pleasure to have in our RINI podcast a special guest, Mr. Peter Grk, the Secretary General of Bled Strategic Forum. Welcome and thank you.
Thank you.
We want to make you 4 quick questions. And the first one is, what is the biggest challenge and biggest pleasure of organizing and hosting an event such as BSF?
Well, that's not a quick question. This is a question which I could go on and on in answering it. But okay, if I take 2 things which are for me very, very much important. I think Bled Strategic Forum as a venue for discussion about the most important topics that the global community is facing. What we, the organizers, like to see is this principle of inclusivity. What we like to do is to bring people from all facets of society, be it political people, businessmen, academia, think tanks, young people, civilian society, because we think that the issues that the global community is facing right now are such that can't be addressed sufficiently or efficiently enough without involving all citizens and all facets of society. So I think the biggest pleasure we take from people coming and not just enjoying themselves, because of course Bled is a beautiful city, but actually contributing to bringing ideas, suggestions, proposals on how we are going to live in the future as a community. And if we see that these people bring passion and they are very passionate about what they are talking about, and they also want to do a follow-up on some proposals, this is something that is really, really enjoyable, and it gives us strength and motivation to carry on. The biggest challenge, of course, there are 2 major challenges. One is logistical and infrastructural, simply because it's a conference of 3,000 people, so to bring 3,000 people to one small city is a challenge, especially also to make them all feel welcomed and happy. That's on the logistical side, and on the substantial side, it's always difficult every year, because the world is turning so fast, to actually grasp the zeitgeist, to grasp the moment in which the global community is currently turning, and what are these topics, what are these major challenges that every year we need to address. So I think this year solidarity for global security is a topic which for us it's very important, but we saw now in the last 2 days with all the discussions, this is also something that the global community would like to discuss about.
And exactly as you mentioned, we got to know and understand that the 3 main key issues or key words used during these days are solidarity, enlargement, and global security. What would be, let's say, your main takeaway, your personal main takeaway from the discussions?
I think my biggest takeaway would be that world is becoming a global village. I mean, we are so interconnected. We have so many means of communication or information, but on the other hand, as much as we are connected, we are also, it seems, the international community is growing apart. There is a big divide between global south, global north, between the east and the west, between different layers of society. So my biggest takeaway is that we need to learn to listen to other people, to other countries, to other regions. Because if this policy of confrontation is going to continue also in the future, I don't see really a positive or a bright future for global community. So we need to replace the story of confrontation with a story of cooperation and solidarity. And I think slowly and this is also what the strategic forum showed, slowly I think everybody understands that this is not something altruistic that we are doing, but it's something that needs to be done in order to put in place a sustainable model for the whole global society. Because I always say, you know, it doesn't matter if one country, no matter where it is, in Europe, in US, wherever, if one small country becomes CO neutral, if this neutrality or this sustainability is not shared and helped across the globe. Because we, as everybody knows, we have only one planet.
I'm not going to ask you if you are satisfied with this year's BSF, because I think I know from my experience that organizers are never fully satisfied, and there are always things that could get better or different. But my question is, do you already feel inspired for the next one?
Frankly, no, because I'm so tired that it's going to take, as always, a couple of days to collect all the thoughts, to understand what we did this year. But already from the middle of September or beginning of October, we are starting to plan for another BSF. But it's true also that over the years, we are slowly embarking on a process to become a yearly platform, so that we are not doing or organizing only this two-day event every year, but we would like to actually build a capacity, a platform which would be yearly, and where we would throughout the year organize conferences, produce thought papers, analyses, have cooperation with different think tanks and organizations from different regions. And I think this is going to be probably the biggest challenge or the biggest issue for the future. How to move from just being a conference where you can have some proposals, ideas, and this is all fine, to actually having a yearly platform which would have a much bigger impact on international relations, or what kind of subjects international relations is discussing. So in this sense, I think what I'm inspired about is, or what I strive to be inspired about is the impact. I think we are not doing these kind of things just for fun. We are not doing these kind of things because we don't have anything more smarter to do, but actually we really would like to have an impact, bringing really interesting and bright ideas into the discussion of global community. For example, last year we had one panel on water security, and you could see the passion of the panelists. They produced, after the discussion, BSF declaration on water security, and this declaration was promoted through our networks, and Tajikistan and Netherlands, who were co-chairing the UN preparations for the UN Water Summit, found the ideas very interesting, and they included them afterwards in the whole discussion. So this is the impact that we would like to see. I'm not measuring the success of BSF on how many prime ministers came or presidents. I'm measuring it what kind of impact the discussions are having then for the political autumn, for example, because we are a conference which is at the end of summer holidays. This year, one main takeaway or impact, which probably is going to trickle down to the discussions on the EU level on enlargement, is of course the speech of Michel, where he said that EU should be ready by 2030 to enlarge, to bring on board new member states. So if you turn this around, this means that by 2030 the countries of Western Balkans should also be ready to actually go inside.
That's great to hear. Actually, I remember years ago with Young BSF Forum, one of the recommendations which was designed and also reproduced was to have an acupuncture of activities and preparations in a yearly manner from a young BSF to a young BSF or from BSF to BSF. So it's very refreshing and good to know that you put efforts on it and you're gonna work systematically till the next round. And it's true, impact is what we are looking for. And we are really happy that for years now we had the chance to look at this model that you build up and to see how good it is to have a multi-stakeholder event, not only in terms of who is coming where and who is representing what, but also point of views and realities which you do not usually get to know a lot of or go in depth in the everyday life.
No, I think what you said is very important, but one thing which is really important to me as I'm getting older is the saying, you know, Rome wasn't built in a day. I mean, you know, we would like to do all the good proposals, all the good ideas all at once, but it can't be done because, as you said, it's a multi-stakeholder event where you have to make a lot of compromises in order to make everything work and make everything happen. So every year we strive to do at least something better in terms of substance, in terms of organization. I mean, this year, and it's a small symbolic thing, but it's important for us. This year, you know, we have a partnership with the Slovenian Railways so that participants could use trains to come to Bled to the strategic forum, and it's a small step for BSF, but on the other hand, you know, it's a promotion of sustainability of the substance that we are actually pretty much, which is, you know, one of the pillars of the Bled Strategic Forum.
Absolutely. And now the last question. We know that young people are in the heart of BSF. You have dedicated a forum which is, let's say, a pre-forum to the BSF, the Young Bled Strategic Forum, where young leaders, young activists are gathering and are getting more knowledge, more information, connections, and they are co-producing certain thoughts, opinions, and recommendations for the future work. What would be your message for younger generations, and how do you see their engagement in the upcoming forums and events?
I think the voice of young people is extremely important. I think it's key if you look at the challenges that the global community is facing. I think no problem which we are facing today can be solved without the engagement of young people and their thoughts and their ideas, because these young people, you know, you are going to be the ones who are going to live this new reality. It's not going to be old politicians or old officials from ministries, but it's going to be young people who are going to live this reality. So it's up to the young people to come to the table and bring proposals and ideas how to move forward. So my message to the young people would be, you know, there is this song of Beastie Boys, "Fight for your right to party," but I would say, you know, fight for your right to be at the table where the decisions are being taken, and to be brave, to be passionate, and to have a soul.
Thank you very much, Peter. Always a pleasure to have a conversation with you, and stay in touch with us for other episodes to RINI. Thank you
Thank you very much.